Alright, dudes, welcome back. Today, we're going over the much awaited My Mage binds. Now, huge disclaimer, massive disclaimer. My binds are terrible, alright? I probably would not recommend anyone using these. My hand flies across the keyboard to play this game like these are not very easily accessible. These keys are not easily accessible. It doesn't really make much sense, but I've been using these binds for like, I don't know, 20 years, so they're just like ingrained into my brain. So that's why I use these binds. You can use this as an idea to get, you can use this video though to get an idea of every key that I think you should have bound if you want to be mage PvPing. And there's probably more I'm missing. I mean, I'll give you everything I can think of right now. I probably missed a few things. Alright, dudes, I'm going to try and go through these binds as quick as possible. There's quite a few of them, so let's get going. First, I'm going to start with the most important binds, targeting. Alright? I use F1 for target self and F5 for last target. So I could just hit a heal key, hit a cure key, anything I need to target myself, I know F1 right back on. F5, last target. So once I have someone on target, any spell I load, I hit F5, drops on that guy. Then moving on. How do I get my targets? Alright, so in order for me to get my targets, I have 3 other targeting macros. I have shift mouse wheel up for next innocent humanoid, so that will target any nearby blue. And as I scroll the mouse, it scrolls through them. And then in Razor, I have show target overhead, so I just kind of scroll my mouse wheel up, and once it says the guy's name that I want over my head, I stop. And that's my target. Shift mouse wheel down is next non-friendly humanoid, so that will, anyone that's not blue, any oranges, grays, reds, that'll pick them up on target for me. Then I have a friends list in Razor, plus anyone in my party is my friend. So if I push C, it targets my nearest friendly. So that's what I use for cross healing my buddies, alright? We're done with targeting, that's it. Now there's this one miscellaneous section. This key these keys change on whatever character I'm using. My Halley Mage, I have scroll mouse wheel up, equips my halberd, scroll mouse wheel down, unequips it. I don't like using the Razor remove weapon from hand to drink potions. It's really slow. I can do it a lot faster if I just scroll down, hit a potion, and scroll back up. If you use the Razor function that will clear your hands to drink potions, it's slow as fuck. So don't use it. Do it manually. Alright. Why did I say this is a miscellaneous key? Because obviously on my Crab Tamer, I don't have a halberd. So what do I use on my Crab Tamer? I have on scroll mouse wheel up, I have all kill. Scroll mouse wheel down, all follow me. So this changes based on the character. Alright, let's get into my defensive spells. These are the spells that keep me and my friends alive. So now my F1 and F5 are going to start to make sense because I've kind of split my keyboard up from defense to attacking. So depending on what side of the keyboard I'm on, that's what I'm hitting. So F2, lesser heal. It's a fast casting, small heal. Very important in PvP. F3, cure. Also very important in PvP. Sometimes you have to cure yourself a few times. If you have like lethal or deadly poison on you, you may have to do 2 or 3 cure attempts to rip it off. So right next to the F1 key makes it very easy. F4, greater heal. You can hit it on yourself, or if you need to target a friendly, you drop F4, hit your target friendly, then hit F5, drop it on your friendly. Alright? So that's my main defensive lineup right there. F1 is target self, F2 is heal, F3 is cure, F4 is greater heal. Very simple, especially on a traditional keyboard where those are split up from everything else. Very easy to locate and keep yourself alive. Then moving on, more defensive things, my potions. I've got Alt 1, drink heal, Alt 2, drink cure, Alt 3, drink refresh. So if I ever need a potion, they're right there around with all my other kind of defensive abilities. My buffs are reactive armor, Magic Reflect, and Protection. I have those on Control A, Control S, and Control D. Control A is Reactive Armor, Control S is Magic Reflect, Control D is Protection. I don't know why I put those there, but it works for me. Bless is the tilde key. And Arch Cure is on Alt A. Have no explanation for why I put it there, but sometimes you need Arch Cure. It say like you have a bunch of pets with you and they're all poisoned. If you Arch Cure, it should attempt to cure the whole group around you. It could take a few attempts to cure them all. Alright, and then the final defensive spell, maybe utility, but I put it as defense, is Resurrect. I have that on Alt R. Resurrect starts with R, and I put it on Alt key instead of just an R, so in case I'm typing I don't start casting that because that has a really long cast time. Okay. Next, we've got our offensive spells. So this is where F5 is going to start to make sense, people, all right? So F5 is my last target, and then from there I have F6 is Weaken, F7 is Explosion. This Explosion is like the starter to all combos, all sync dumps. Explosion usually opens them up. If you're running with a group of people, when they say load up, they're usually talking about Explosion unless they call for an E-Bolt or a Flame Strike. So F6 Weaken, F7 Explosion, F8 Energy Bolt. That is like your primary group dumping keys right there. Why Weaken? So Weaken will, I believe it gives them a -11 strength buff. It's fast cast, it can interrupt people, and a level 1 spell that's doing a guaranteed 11 damage off the top of their health that they can't heal back. So I like to open on targets with a Weaken. It's very useful, and it makes people a lot easier to kill. Those 11 hit points could be the difference between life and death after a single dump. Alright, so moving up further up my F keys, I've got F9 as Poison, F10 as Lightning, F11 as Harm, and F12 as Flame Strike. I don't use Flame Strike a lot, so I don't need access to that key too easily. So that's why it's on the F12 position. Then we move down to my number keys. Number 5, Paralyze. Number 6, Magic Arrow. Magic Arrow is a great spell for breaking people because it does barely any damage. So if you want to break someone's spell reflect when you run up on them, hit a Magic Arrow first and then maybe do Weaken and then an Explosion. That'd probably be the ideal combo. Magic Arrow, Weaken, then load your Explosion for a big dump. Okay. Number 7, Fireball. I rarely use Fireball here. Maybe I should use it more. Not sure. I'll have to give that some testing, but I got Fireball on there. Number 8. This one's big. Mind Blast. If you see Dexers wearing heavy gear, just spam Mind Blast on them, man. It's it's faster casting than an Explosion or E-Bolt, and it will do equal or greater damage if they're in plate. Like, Mind Blast melts heavy Dexers. Just melts them, dude. Number 8 is Mind Blast. Number 9, Feeble Mind. If I'm going into a long fight against a mage, or if I'm actually dueling for once, which I never do, I'll use this just to lower their mana pool, but and then Shift 5, I have Clumsy. Sometimes I'll break that out on a Dexter if I feel like standing around and fighting him toe-to-toe just to slow down his swings a bit. But it's not necessary. So then the last attacking macro I have is Shift Mouse Button 4. So when I have someone on target, if I want to smoke them with the Halley, I have them on last target, and I hit that Shift Mouse Button 4, and it will target them and smoke them. So that's why I have attack last target. I don't want to have to be double clicking someone in battle. It's a pain in the butt. Alright, now let's move on to my utility. So I have one utility potion I use, Alt 4, that's to drink strength pots. Generally, I'll just cast strength on myself or bless, but if I'm in a rush or I'm running from someone and I want to get my strength up and I don't want to have to stop to cast a spell, I'll hit Alt 4 and drink a strength pot. Then moving on. So next to my paralyzed key, I have Shift 6. Shift 6 is an energy field. This is good in dungeons, choke points, and if you team up with a friend and you cross someone up in the middle, that will trap someone right there in the middle position. They cannot move. Oh, you can't. They cannot move from this spot once they've got crossed up with E fields. So that's why I have it next to Paralyze. You can paragank people with it, or two good players, if they time it correctly, can just cross up an enemy and have him trapped. It's been seen in a couple of my previous videos. It's a nasty play. That's a pro play. Someone gets hit with that, I think they retire from UO for the day. My other fields that I have on keys, I have Control P for Poison Field. I put it on P because P reminds me of poison. And Control O for Paralyzed Field because it's next to P. And that is next to the Poison Field. And I use those fields often. These, both very important fields when you're field fighting, when you're dungeon fighting. These are just very useful fields to have readily available. Next utility key would be Control T. It will, hold on, medding. But next utility key is my Control T, and that is to pull up my tracking. Pulls up my tracking menu. When I'm on a red, I do the hunt all players and always get closest. That's how I'm hunting when I'm on a red, because pretty much everyone's aggressive to me. If I'm doing vendor hunting, if I'm killing at people's vendors, sometimes I'll turn this option off so that, say I go by a house where someone's invisible looking at a vendor and they're inside it, it'll pick them up on track. So if you're killing at vendors, turn off the hide house / ship filter. You want that off just so you can get hiding people in houses. Alright, now some of my favorite keys for utility. I have Q for teleport. Probably one of my favorite spells in the game. Just incredible. Just a truly incredible spell, teleport. Love it. Followed by, right next to it, on the W key, you could probably guess what this is because it's on W, Wall of Stone. This is another one of my top 3 favorite spells in the game, man. Love Wall of Stone. This is just lethal. This ruins lives. A well-placed Wall of Stone. You can't even teleport. You can't teleport over it. It breaks line of sight. Person can't be healed from someone on the other side. They can't teleport over it. The only way to survive a Wall of Stone is if you or your buddy can break it with a Dispel field, which is also another key we have, but we'll get there. So, Q teleport, W Wall of Stone. If you're trapped by a Wall of Stone and your buddy's on the other side, have him drop a Dispel field so you can get through. Okay? Reveal, Control R. Why is it on that? R reminds me of Reveal, so I put it on Control R, and it's to reveal stuff. Hide, even if your character has 0 hiding, it's good to have a hide macro. So, like, say you're getting chased by a bunch of people, you could turn a corner on a house, break line of sight, hit hide, and you will have like a 50% chance to hide, I think, even with 0 skill, as long as you're touching the house. In your own house, you can hide 100% of the time. So this is a great key to have. My Dispel field, where do I keep that? I keep that on Alt D. D reminds me of Dispel, so that's why it's on there. I have Invisibility on I. I reminds me of Invisibility, so that's why it's on I. My mouse button 4 is my hamstring toggle. Turns hamstring on and off. You don't want hamstring always on because sometimes a mob will just walk by you and attack and you'll punch it. It'll aggro you, so you'll automatically punch it, and that'll waste your hamstring, and it's like a 40-second cooldown or something. So that's why you want to toggle. You want to time your hamstring correctly so that you use it at the right time so the target can't escape. Mouse button 3. This is a utility key that is not actually bound in UO. I have it bound in Discord, but if you're group PvPing, you want to be able to talk to people. I recommend a push to talk key if you're one of these like mouth breathers or loud typers, or you have like a techno rave going on in your house. use a push-to-talk key. Communication is key in group PvP and Ultima Online. You gotta sync your dumps, you gotta call for cross heals. Like, if you want to be a top tier group PvPer, you gotta use comms. Just how it is. Recall, I have that on Shift C, and I actually have it a macro, so it casts it and targets my runebook, and the default rune in my runebook is my house. So it's just like a safe escape. If I ever need to get home, I hit Shift C, automatically teleports me home. Control 4, all names. So I just hit that, and well, it doesn't appear to work on creatures, but I have all names on Control 4. It just pulls up all the names in the area. Completely useless bind. You don't really need it. I just like to be able to see all the names of the people around me. Control 5, circle of transparency toggle, turns it on and off. Sometimes I like to be able to see behind stuff. So I have my circle of transparency I have on Control 5 just to toggle it on and off. Sometimes I want to see behind a wall, and sometimes I don't, because sometimes it can blind you. Like it'll make something completely invisible that is blocking you from running in game, and that'll suck because you're like, why can't I run? Then you turn off circle of transparency and you see, oh shit, there was a giant stump there or something. So definitely put circle of transparency. That's one needed on macro. D is Dispel. In case I need to Dispel. So I didn't have Dispel keys before, but now that summoners are pretty powerful, I've got D for Dispel and Shift D for Mass Dispel, so that I can just wipe out summoner pets instantly. It'll make fighting them a lot easier. Bomb bags. I've got bomb bags on Alt Q. Those are to get away from paraganks. You're gonna need a lot of those. Oh, one more important find. So I know for like mini heal and stuff, you don't want to interrupt mid cast, but say you're going to res someone and it's a long casting spell, right? And then you see enemies coming, you gotta break it. You need to make an interrupt key. The interrupt key can be found in Razor under hotkeys, under spells, interrupt. I use Alt tilde, and it's just so that if I am casting a long cast spell and I need to break it to run, I can hit that key and move. So interrupt is a very important key to make. And I think that's it. I may have missed stuff, I'm not sure, but I'll also put up, there's a link below with a spreadsheet that has all my spells and the binds I have it on. If you got any questions, let me know. Alright dudes, good luck. I hope that you're all kicking my ass in the field in the future. See ya.